Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the CrossFit Update studios. We're being joined by a man who's getting set for his 6th trip to the CrossFit Games. He was a Masters champion in 2013, and he has stood on the podium a total of 2 times. He is Ron Ortiz. Ron, thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Sean, thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to be around you.
You're coming into the CrossFit Games as the top seed in the 50 to 54-year-old division. What has been going right for you so far this year?
You know, with us Masters, Sean, it's all about our health, our plan going into it, and the coaching that we have behind us. You know, all those things are clicking this year really, really well. Been blessed because I have a great group of people I train with who also, I don't know if you know that, Hustle Hard made to the games as well. They're going out as a team. So everything's clicking. Everything's clicking really good. We just got to keep everything moving and hope nothing gets hurt.
What does your training look like now as you transition to the CrossFit Games?
It's definitely bumped up. You know, I mentioned to you before, I use Doug Chapman, Duke Van Vliet, and Chris Hinshaw. And the combination of all of those guys, Doug is my programmer, Chris is my endurance coach, and then Duke is my gymnastics coach. A couple of those areas I really needed help in, and they've allowed me to work on my strengths, get those even, a little bit stronger, but especially my weaknesses in gymnastics and my endurance, bringing that up to a point where I feel very confident this year.
You often train with Masters champion Sean Ramirez. You referred to him as your brother.
Yeah.
What's the relationship like between the two of you?
Yeah, he's like my little brother. He is. He can be a pain in the butt sometimes, and but at the same time, there's a love there, and I love and care about him. I'm real blessed to have him around. We get together and train often. You were just training yesterday together with a bunch of the other athletes from the Southeast region, and it's awesome to be able to come in the company of those guys, push each other to our points, kind of get an idea where your strong points are, weak points are, and then you kind of push those sore spots and make sure that they know that you're better than them. So it's good.
What is it like, though, having a guy of his ability being able to train alongside on a daily basis?
Oh man, it's awesome. It really is. He's a gamer. He's one of these guys that he can even look not great going into a competition, and end up pushing you to a point where it's just like, we did a competition together last year, and I swear that guy, I was like, where did you get your second win from? Where did this happen? But it's good because he always kind of, nudges you a little bit and gets you going. So he's a good man to have around, really.
I mentioned it before, but you're getting ready for your 6th trip to the CrossFit Games. How has the Masters competition changed since you were first at the Games as a competitor?
Well, we went from being in the back 40 to the sand pit in the back to on the track. And every year it's gotten where we've become a bigger part of the Games. And that to me, I had a lot of people like complaining to me about it. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm happy to be out there. And now it's gotten to a point where it's like, it's grown and we're recognized enough that we are now being a part of that community, even in a bigger way. I mean, to the point where there's a lot of sponsors that are coming out and helping us along the way as well. We've definitely become more recognized, and it's all a blessing. I mean, it really is. It's one of those things that I often find myself thanking Dave whenever I see him. He probably gets tired of hearing me say it, but Dave's been a big part of that. He is definitely a blessing when it comes to that. He always recognizes. I know he will always stop and talk to Sean and myself and other Masters athletes. Go, hey, how you doing? Are you ready? We're excited to have you. So, just being a part of it in that way, Sean, and having it grow around us, it's been awesome, amazing. And you've been a part of it too since almost day one. I mean, you've seen it change. So.
It has been incredible, and I love the fact that
great.
You guys get to be on at center stage. It is a lot of fun
Yeah,
to
man,
watch.
we love it.
You have a ton of volume in your training. You mentioned that, well, we were talking before we came on here that you train like 4 to 6 hours a day sometimes. How do you manage that type of volume with everything else you have going on in your life?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I'm blessed because the job that I have, number one, they want us to be healthy. As a firefighter, you really do need to be healthy. And then I'm surrounded with guys like my lieutenant sitting right over here watching this whole conversation go on. He works out with me all the time. My buddy Chris, who's been a partner of mine here in the fire department for the last like 8 years. He's a CrossFitter, been to the games as well. And then I have the whole group at my gym. So my days on, I work out here, and these guys push me along the way. At the gym, I have a whole group of guys. Those guys all made to the games, hustle hard, and they are constantly pushing me. And then my wife allows me the time to do what I need to do. She's at the games with me last year, so she understands even more so how important it is. Always having really great meals for me, just pushing me to a point where she understands, hey, listen, you need to get out there and do what you got to do. And she's super good with me. Like this year, I had to travel quite a bit too. Got to travel and got to train with some really great guys. But it's allowed me to become a better athlete doing all that. And putting in the time never hurts, but putting in recovery is even more so important.
And that's my next question. What do you think the key to successful training as a master is?
Yeah.
Is it recovery?
Okay, so recovery is a huge part of what we do as masters to stay healthy and also keep yourself moving in the right direction. Recovery as far as like your days off. My recoveries, just because of the volume that I do, my recoveries tend to be like a 10K row and a 5K row, which Hinshaw has blessed me enough to be able to kind of like, I'm doing a different type of 10K where it's more interval 10Ks. And then also having a really good supplement plan behind you. Having those protein drinks in between. I don't know if you saw, I was just drinking a coconut water. All those things to stay hydrated, to continue to make sure you're getting good nutrition. And I mean, there's a certain amount of things too that we need to get in our diet: magnesium, potassium. I actually do take a couple supplements as far as like bone and joint supplements that really help with my knees and my ankles and stuff that start cracking when you get older. So making sure that you have a really good supplement plan behind you is a big part too. I'm sure you've noticed that fish oil and those type of things are really important.
Yeah, sometimes my knees sound like a box of Rice Krispies, so I'm going to have to start looking into some of that stuff. You're in a new division, but I know the goal is absolutely the same. What would it mean to you to be able to stand on top of the podium in the 50 to 54-year-old division this year?
You know, Sean, the first time I was up there, it's just it was a dream come true. It really was. The time and effort that we put in as masters athletes. You know, for a long time, everybody's like, oh, you guys do this just because you enjoy doing it. And it's like, no, man, we do this because there's a drive in us as athletes before to want to be an athlete now. And it's really something that I think we work hard at as masters athletes. It would mean the world to me to be able to stand on that podium again. I know every one of those guys feels the exact same way. They're not going out there to lay down because, oh, Ron's coming up to, they're going out there and they're going, okay, here it goes. That's the way they are. They're really solid competitors. And I know that. And there's not a day that goes by that I was out here the other night at 9 o'clock at night working at the fire station. My buddy's like, bro, what are you doing? I go, what do you think the other guys are doing, bro? If I stop right now, I would be doing a lot less than probably they're doing. So that's always on my mind. It's like always thinking about where else I need to improve myself because I'm aware of those competitors that are coming up behind me. So being on the podium would be amazing, but having to work for it is kind of one of those things that drives you, you know, and you want to be the best you can, regardless of whether you're standing on the podium or not.
Ron, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We wish you the best of luck and can't wait to see you out in Carson, man.
Sean, thank you so much for your time and CrossFit community. Love you guys. Dave, thanks again. And all my boys that hustle hard, everybody, take care.
All right, Ron. Ron Ortiz, 50 to 54-year-old division, going to be going for his second win at the CrossFit Games, making his 6th trip out to Carson.